This is the newsroom for today, Friday, June 20th, 2025. We're broadcasting to you on E1 SKAR TV, NTN, and TARZEE TV in Bartica. In the headlines, opposition parties divided on coalition efforts, and the governing PPP calls this a tragedy.
I think the prospects of anything positive coming out of further engagements, the prospects are marginal.
First Lady Arya Ali champions vaccination in the mountainous Region 8. A new app has been launched to fill a crucial caregiving gap. And in sport, Captain's Laud expansion of CARE's One Guyana T10 Tapeball Blast from 32 to 80 teams and 4-member Guyana badminton team to compete at Junior Pan American Games in August. With the news, I am Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us. We start off by telling you that even though Aubrey Norton says that the APNU, that's the Partnership for National Unity, remains open to returning to a coalition with the Alliance for Change, the AFC, Nigel Hughes on Friday said that the AFC has moved on and is focused on preparing for the upcoming elections. Hughes is the leader and presidential candidate of the AFC. APNU and AFC held government office between 2015 and 2020 as a coalition. They had been engaged in talks to revive the alliance ahead of this year's general elections, but those discussions collapsed dramatically. Just this week, Jurita Finance parted ways with the AFC and has been named APNU's prime ministerial candidate.
The AFC sent a new proposal. And with the person that were engaging us, I told that person that they can say to the AFC, we are willing to continue discussions, but we have committed to making Jurita Finance the prime ministerial candidate. And if Jurita wants to give the opportunity for the AFC to select the candidate, we have no problem with that. But we also said we will not give her a word and then renege it to satisfy a late request when we have been negotiating for months with some impossible suggestions, like we should take 35% and the AFC should get 65%.
I think the prospects of anything positive coming out of further engagements, the prospects are marginal. We have moved on and we are heading straight to the election, as I'm sure APNU is.
Now, the People's National Congress leader and presidential candidate of a Partnership for National Unity, Aubrey Norton, on Friday said that his APNU colleague, Ganesh Mahipal, is poised to become Guyana's vice president should the party win the September 1st, 2025 general and regional elections. Norton spoke about the party's decision to name Jurita Finance as Friday. In so doing, he addressed concerns about Mahipal being sidelined as he is viewed as a frontrunner for the post.
I spoke with all the persons in the APNU, representatives, and we generally agreed that we needed Jurita Finance as the prime ministerial candidate. She has the intellect. She is a woman. She is from the indigenous community and in contact with the indigenous community. And we believe she's qualified to be prime minister. I wouldn't pit her against Ganesh Mahipal because Ganesh himself was involved in these discussions and agreed that Jurita is a good choice. In these elections, we intend to have three main phases of the campaign. Myself as leader, Jurita Finance as prime minister, and Ganesh Mahipal as key senior, possible vice president in the next government. Now, you would agree that Guyana needs, or the leadership needs to reflect the society. I believe Ganesh is as qualified as Jurita, and Jurita is as qualified as Ganesh. But you have to make decisions. And when you make decisions, you look at all the factors. And having looked at the factors, you create the combination. And it's for that reason the combination is being created. Ganesh has been a long-standing member of this party in opposition and in government. And like any member, he is entitled to any position. But he is also a political person who understands politics and will do what is necessary to ensure we get the best combination to go into the elections.
Now, the coalition talks between APNU and AFC have collapsed, and General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party Civic, Dr. Bartica, described this situation as a tragedy. This week, there was a desperate attempt by the Alliance for Change, the AFC, to get back into coalition talks with the APNU coalition, of which the People's National Congress is the only substantial party. Jagdeo continued his weekly diatribe against the two parties at this week's press conference, again stating that they seem to be focused more on sharing the spoils after elections instead of coming up with a cohesive plan for governance.
Behind all the clownishness and this confusion is a tragedy, and people have to think through it. So it reinforces our point that all along they were only negotiating about positions. Even Granger, from his sojourn somewhere on the East Bank, has come out and said, it shouldn't be about what positions you get. It should be about a program, something that we have spoken about, a joint program. They have not even come up with the program as yet, and I'll deal with that in a moment. So, what we've seen now with the recent configurations in the last couple of days is a recycling of the same people within the same coalition. There just seems to be switching sides. So it's recycled people within themselves. When you are a political party, you look for momentum and growth. You want to bring people to you who are not part of your camp. If you are using people who are traditionally part of your camp to move to another part of your camp, then you're not really focusing on addition. You're just, like stirring the same pot.
Still to come, we tell you about First Lady Arya Ali's focus in getting more persons vaccinated. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is the newsroom. As part of efforts to achieve the ambitious goal of eliminating cervical cancer in Guyana, the First Lady, Arya Ali, visited Kato Village in Region 8 on Thursday, where a massive vaccination drive was conducted. The newsroom spoke with Dr. Delroy Pyle, the medical officer at the Ministry of Health's Maternal and Child Care Unit, who explained the importance of vaccination.
So know that the students or the villagers from the Kato community, they are willing to accept, the vaccines that we have to offer.
Right, right. And just so that we can understand your role here, can you tell me a bit about what it is that you're doing here today?
Okay, so I am Dr. Pyle. I am here on behalf of the Ministry of Health, the Maternal Child Health Department, and I'm here to ensure that the vaccines are available. The healthcare providers who are administering the vaccine, right, they are prepared and to administer the vaccine, and also to ensure that we observe the students and the adults.
Just give me a breakdown of the vaccines that are being offered here today.
So today we have the HPV vaccine, we have the yellow fever, we have MMR, we have the PCV13, and we also have COVID-19 vaccines.
What is the importance of vaccination, especially throughout a person's life?
Right. So vaccines protect not only children, but protect persons across the life cycle. So vaccine is a reduced form of an antigen, right, or microorganisms that the persons through the vaccine they are sensitized, right, so that when they if they come into contact with that antigen or that disease, right, it would have less effect on the person because they're immunized.
The Ministry of Health has commenced a massive vaccination program focused on prevention of cervical cancer, and the nation's First Lady, Mrs. Arya Ali, has championed the cause.
Your commitment to protecting your children and your community is something that the entire country can learn from. By vaccinating our girls and even our boys now, we are building a healthier, more resilient future for our Guyana.
Chinese Ambassador Yang Yang said the vaccination drive sends a strong message about the serious nature of healthcare in far-reaching communities.
Today's initiative, in partnership with the Ministry of Health, delivers a powerful message that prevention is empowerment. By encouraging young girls to take the HPV vaccine will not only protect, we are investing in a healthier, more resilient future for generations to come.
Cervical cancer is one of the leading causes of cancer deaths in Guyana, and though it is more prevalent in women, boys can also get cervical cancer. Reporting for the newsroom, Lizina Yearwood.
And the Sexual Offences and Domestic Violence Policy Unit through the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security launched its Brave Men's Policy on Friday. This is a new national framework aimed at involving men and boys in efforts to prevent gender-based violence while promoting emotional well-being and personal responsibility. It seeks to shift the narrative by moving away from portrayals of men solely as perpetrators or at-risk individuals and instead highlights their potential role as positive agents of change.
We cannot build a nation without men. And we must recognize that men are equally important as women as we counter violence. We cannot see one without the other. We cannot see one as a problem and the other as a solution. We need to see both as solutions to an issue that has been embedded not only nationally but globally in families and communities for eons. I say this because what we are endeavoring to do is to change what we have known, what we have lived, what we would have experienced, and what we would see from time to time in the media or in living color. Let's be real. Every one of us is shaped by our experience, our exposure, our culture, our beliefs, our values, and which makes each one of us very, very unique, distinctive, and different. Nothing is wrong with that. Diversity is a wonderful thing, and that's what makes my country, Guyana, so beautiful. But amidst this beauty, we see gender-based violence rearing its head again and again. And when it comes to the fore, lives are lost. We have seen the statistics. And while we see that those statistics show that men are disproportionately the perpetrators of violence, equally so, we must understand the backstory to that. And that is why this is more than a policy. This is transformational. And this is not just a national policy that remains, as I have it here, on paper. It has been carefully thought out and crafted to ensure that it is comprehensive, it is inclusive because in the crafting of this policy, many, many men from all walks of life would have been consulted and engaged to ensure what we have crafted appeals to men of every walk of life. What we have crafted would not only appeal to them, but empower them.
Agriculture innovation hubs with support centers will be set up in every region in the next PPP government, Vice President and General Secretary of the party, Dr. Bartica, said on Thursday. Jagdio said once re-elected, the PPP will focus heavily on further expanding the agriculture sector. He said that to add to the innovation hubs, there will be diversification and technical support centers in each region.
In the next term, we made it clear that in every region, so it's not just production, we have to have the innovation hub. And so every region will have its own innovation hub. It will have its own diversification support technical center. And then so the innovation, the diversification support, so that means processing of the agricultural produce, and you're getting the technical help for that. And then overall, we'd have the development bank to make zero interest loans to those ventures. So it supports diversification fully. They get the support right from planting material to the technical skills. We'll support people studying in the different subject areas. We'll create the incentive regime for small businesses in agriculture and every other sector, but I'm speaking of agriculture here today. We'd provide more lands for people to conduct their business in. We'll have the support centers for diversification and processing. And we will also have the innovation hubs, and then we'll have the financing mechanism, which is zero interest loan. It's all well thought out, well laid out.
When the newsroom returns, we'll tell you about a new app that was launched to make caregiving services more accessible. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is the newsroom. General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party Civic, Dr. Bharat Jagdeo, on Thursday said that the party is serious about uniting the country and it will fight against racist propaganda spewed anywhere. Jagdeo said that the PPP is focused on providing opportunities to all persons, from employment ventures to scholarships.
It seems as though in Region 10, we cannot get past, or the leadership there cannot get past, the question of race. And they are doing it quietly through a whisper campaign, and then often it gets into the public domain where they do it overtly, unashamedly. And we have been very clear that this is something that we will fight against. And people in Linden too are turned off by this vile propaganda. And they're disgusted by it. They're fed up with it. So we will once again do what we have done across this country, which is carry a single message in the People's Progressive Party, one of bringing people together and a message of progress for all Guyanese, regardless of their geography or race or religion or gender or age. We want all of our people to progress. It's a single message, and it will be done right across Guyana. We intend not to campaign on the incompetence and the failures of the last government, although we will point those out to people to ensure that there is an appropriate comparison and contrast between our policy making and policy implementation. We'll do that. But we are focused entirely on what we have done and what we'll do in the future.
Now, moving beyond her struggles to find reliable and caregiving support, Anjani Abel has created a digital platform aimed at transforming how families in Guyana can access child care and elder care services. Though the digital platform, called Safe Haven, was first developed as a website for Friday. Safe Haven currently only offers services on the East Coast, East Bank, and in Georgetown, with bookings requiring adequate hours in advance. Caregivers must provide a certificate of qualification, 2 references, and a police clearance before being approved. So far, 20 caregivers have been hired, with about 50 others still undergoing the vetting process.
Today is a really proud moment for me and for Safe Haven team, because what you're seeing here is something that came from a very personal space. There were moments in my life when I needed help and couldn't find it. When my father needed support, we struggled to find someone experienced and reliable. When my son was born, we needed a little break from time to time, but again, the options were far and few. It became clear to me that there was a real gap in the caregiving space, and I knew we weren't the only family feeling it. That's where Safe Haven was born, from a desire to fill the gap with something safe, accessible, and built with the realities of Guyanese families in mind. At its core, Safe Haven is a digital platform that is built to help families source trusted caregivers, whether it's for child care or elder care, and at the same time, it's a space where caregivers can find real work opportunities with structure. Since then, we've made many attempts, hit roadblocks, and kept pushing. We built a website at first, and then an app, but it wasn't enough to just have the platform. We wanted a truly seamless experience from the moment someone books care to when the caregiver shows up at the person's door. A major hurdle we experienced was payments. There just wasn't a user-friendly digital solution in Guyana to support this kind of service. But I'm so proud to say that after years of conversation and struggles and collaboration, we've successfully integrated MMG into the Safe Haven app. The app is designed to prioritize the client's experience, while the website is built to manage caregiver onboarding and document uploads. I want to pause here to say this clearly. Safety is everything. You will never see a caregiver on Safe Haven who hasn't been properly screened. This includes police clearance, reference checks, and all relevant certification. This isn't just about convenience, it's about trust and giving families peace of mind. To our early caregivers who believed in us and signed up, thank you. To our testers who give feedback while we were still ironing things out, thank you. To my family, my partner, my friends, thank you for your encouragement, your belief, and your support.
The Health Ministry on Friday launched its Life After Stroke and Amputee Handbooks and the Guyana Stroke app that will serve as guides for caregivers, patients, and healthcare providers. These products come as part of Rehab Week 2025, which is currently being celebrated.
This week, we'll be launching our new tools, so this marks an important moment for us. We'll be launching the Guyana Rehab app, a simple but powerful digital platform that puts information, appointment access, and community resources directly into the patient's hand. This is about improving access and helping people to get the help they need faster. The Amputee Handbook, a national guide to support persons with limb loss through every stage, before surgery, after surgery, getting a prosthesis, and beyond. These resources reflect our mission to raise the standard of care across the board, not just in theory, but in reality.
For a lot of people, as you grow older, the challenge would be to manage your chronic conditions like diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, so that once we manage them properly, we prevent these types of outcome where people might, have the complications of these diseases if not managed properly. Both the amputee and the one dealing with stroke are really done in very simple language that people can understand. And I'll really recommend them to you because I think for a lot of people who might not be so medically inclined, you think that stroke is such a, big fancy thing and you don't understand it too well. This manual, if you go through it, with the drawings that are there, the illustrations that are there, and the language, it's really simple, so it will allow you to understand when a stroke happens, what is really going on in your body.
When the newsroom returns, the financial, weather, and bridge reports along with sport. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Newsroom. Now for a look at what's happening in sport. We're starting off with some cricket news. The Cares 1 Guyana T10 Tapeball Blast is set for massive expansion this season with a significant increase in the number of teams. The third annual tournament, set for June 28th to August 3rd, has attracted a record 80 teams, a massive increase from the 32 last season. The teams will be divided into 4 zones, with the zone winners clashing in the national final. 3 of the captains spoke recently about the expansion of the tournament and their expectation for the nationwide championship.
Actually, it's a privilege to be a part of this tournament. I represent and I captain the Kings team, proudly sponsored by Bumper to Bumper. And it's a relatively young team. The good thing about it is like an underdog team because I'm the only person that participated last year for a previous team. So I have a lot of fresh faces, and it's going to be exciting trying to get the nerves and everything together with the guys. Like any fresh venture you're getting involved in or any fresh thing that you're approaching, you go in there being optimistic. I'm trying to get the guys to one game at a time. Can't really look too much ahead, but of course the ultimate goal is to get as far as possible, all right? But it's just to basically keep it simple, one game at a time, and to enjoy the moment. I think we get too much carried away in the glitz, the glam, and trying to get the popularity, and we forget to enjoy the moment and to have fun. So the main objective is to enjoy the moment and to have fun. Coming here today, it ignited this fire. The excitement is there because it has blown me away that the amount of effort and energies that has been put into it and the level of class that I see, and I'm really impressed. I know a lot of congratulations went out to the organizers, and I'd also like to echo those sentiments because it's been really good and it ignited a fire that I'll definitely share with the team. So I'm happy to be here.
Well, in terms of our team is relatively a new team from the East Coast industry side, comprises of a group of UG students and engineers from various ministries. Because we all live in the same area, we realized over time we started to lose our physical shape. So what started off as a routine practice to stay fit, ended up turning into a full-fledged cricket team. So with that said, we end up using the church location in the afternoons, and people in the community apparently had a lot of cricketers in the community. They saw and they came to join, and eventually the team got so big we now have 2 teams. So we're trying to challenge ourselves and see how far in this tournament we can go against the quote-unquote big teams. I would say the top players you could expect, there we have 2 particular players who are very much known. There is, I think, is S. King, and his brother, that's King 1 and King 2, we call him in the team, and a guy named Arnim Griffith, who used to play for Gunners. He's one of the senior members in our team, who have, I think, retired from the Gunners and now playing with us. Fit in the batting technique, while King helps us with the bowling. And we have 1 or 2 guys who are not much famous because they play cricket at a young age. So life got to them and we are doing different things now. The thoughts on the expansion is a very good thing because a gap most time you hear in the cricket circle is that the table arenas focus on certain big teams. With the expansion, not only it makes people get the idea that, yay, they made 80 spots for small teams, so why not join? So the expansion, it motivates people to join. We're looking forward to the experience though, that wherever or however you got draw, we look forward to enjoy the game, take it 1 game at a time, see where it goes. You don't really lose nothing. You might feel ashamed if you lose a bad, but across the board, it should be a good experience. And we're hoping to upset somebody at least 1 team.
Our team is from Saxacali, is some other players like from different riverine areas. Yeah, so we just decide to have like the best 11 or the best 15-man squad, whatever, and come and compete in the East Bank zone. Myself, I'm making a comeback since I noticed Tapeball cricket is going on a lot. And no big names really, but a lot of guys with skills, so we're looking to make the name in this year One Guyana Tapeball competition. Yeah. I think it's beautiful because last year I didn't get to come at the stadium, but I was watching the live and it was a very nice atmosphere, and I enjoyed seeing so many players and them things.
Some Test cricket news now. Shubman Gill marked his debut as India captain with a century, and opener Yashasvi Jaiswal added a sparkling ton of his own as England toiled after winning the toss on the opening day of the first Test. Following the retirements of superstars Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, India proved the future of their batting is in safe hands, while at the same time showing England what they are up against in this 5-test match series. The tourists moved to 359 for 3 on a sticky, oppressive day at Headingley with 85 overs bowled. Jaiswal, the 23-year-old opener who destroyed England in India 18 months ago, crunched 101 and Gill elegantly stroked his way to 127 not out. Gill's ongoing partnership with Rishabh Pant is worth 138, with Pant ominously poised on 65 not out. For all of the superstar qualities of Kohli in particular, India never won a test series in England with him or Rohit on the side. This new-look team have made a strong start in their bid to end that wait for success in the UK, stretching back to 2007. Entrusted into leadership with the vice-captaincy role, spinner Jamil Warrican is bracing for a tough 3-test match series against Australia starting later this month. The first test is in Warrican's home nation Barbados, starting June 25th, will be his 100th first-class game. Ahead of the series, the left-arm spinner spoke to CWI Media about achieving that personal milestone, Australia missing their ace batsman Steve Smith for the first test, and the impact.
My 100th first-class game that's going to be played in Barbados is a special feeling. So looking forward to that challenge and just enjoy the moment. Not just steady, just go, as I said, you can't get caught up in the moment. Just got to stick to your role and do the role to the best of your ability. So you can't get caught up in the moment too much and think, oh, you're playing your first game at home or it's your 100th first-class game. And then you have a job to do for the team. You got to continue to do it to the best of your ability. I don't know. No, you still got to take every player seriously. So yes, Steve Smith is a big miss for Australia, but we have to make sure we take every batsman or whoever replace him just as serious as him. It's very simple. The juke ball is a lot more movement because the seam is a lot higher, and the kookaburra ball, because you lose the ladder and the shine a lot fast, and the seam is a lot flatter. So it's easier to bat than the juke, which continue to move almost all day.
Meanwhile, Marnus Labuschagne has been dropped to the first test against West Indies, and Steve Smith ruled out through injury, with Sam Constas and Josh Inglis named as their replacements. The two changes were confirmed 5 days before the opening test in Barbados on June 25th, meaning that Australia will have a significantly different batting lineup to the World Test Championship final against South Africa. Constas will earn his third cap, having not featured since the 2 outings against India, which began with his 60 of 65 balls on debut at the MCG. Inglis, meanwhile, scored a century on his test debut against Sri Lanka in Galle. Labuschagne had been moved up to open in the World Test Championship final, with the selectors opting for a last show of faith, but came away with scores of 17 and 22 to continue a 2-year lean run in Test cricket. The Guyana Badminton Association will send its largest team of 4 players to the upcoming Junior Pan American Games in Paraguay. In the inaugural Junior Pan American Games in 2021 in Colombia, Guyana had fielded 2 athletes. This year, when badminton is held, from August 10th to the 13th, Guyana will be represented by the quartet Frank Waddell, Mishka Bihari, Lashante Berkeley, and Jonathan Debadine. With more than 4,000 athletes participating in 42 disciplines, this event not only offers a platform for young athletes, but also the opportunity to qualify for the 2027 Pan American Games. President of the Guyana Badminton Association, Amelia Ramdani, was particularly pleased to see an increase in participants, with the Guyanese looking to make a mark in the singles, doubles, and mixed doubles categories. She pointed out that the national athletes will ramp up preparations in the coming weeks with the aim of excelling at the premier junior competition in the Pan Am region.
Recently, our junior players was qualified. We got 4 spots in the Junior Pan Am Games, first time ever for Guyana. We had 2 boys and 2 girls. In the badminton part of the tournament, of the games, it's on the 23 tournament. So we have Frank Waddell who's going. Frank was at India recently for the Jain University. Yeah, and Frank is going. Mishka Bihari. They will be playing doubles, singles, and mixed doubles. We have Lashante Berkeley and Jonathan Debadine. 4 of them are going. They're traveling with Achille Haynes as the coach to Paraguay. August 7th to the 14th. It shows that we have the scope for growing. Before we had 2 spots, 1 male and 1 female. This year we had 4 spots, which shows that the sport is growing. the Continental Federation recognizes this, and they've qualified us for the 4. After the Ascension Paraguay games, we're going to Caribaco. We're going to be playing in the team tournament and the individual tournament in Barbados. So the team will travel from Paraguay straight to Barbados. The same 4, sorry, with the exception of Frank, because he's on the 20th. He's older than, he's now 19, so he can't play in the under 19 tournament. So Ruel Rambridge is going to join them in Caribaco. Before then, in July, Priyana is taking Mishka and Ruel to the Pan Am Individual Championships. This is a yearly tournament that's held by Pan Am, our continental partner, and they will be also, after the tournament, they will also be in a camp for about a week and a half, which we're really looking forward to, because it will help build them and help with their techniques and stamina and stuff like that. But they train as well. They're training with Akili and Priyana and a couple of the other senior players. So we're working with them to help build the sport, take it a little higher and higher.
Now, the Trinbago Knight Riders on Friday announced the appointment of Dwayne Bravo as the new head coach. In a statement, the franchise said Bravo's appointment is a natural progression for one of the most celebrated figures in Caribbean cricket. Since hanging up his playing boots, Bravo has been instrumental in developing young talents, serving as a mentor at Kolkata Knight Riders in the IPL, and currently as the head coach of LA Knight Riders in Major League Cricket. The statement added that Bravo's leadership, strategic insight, and passion for nurturing talent have already made a profound impact across the Knight Riders group. Bravo's appointment comes at an exciting time for the franchise as the Knight Riders continue to build on a strong foundation in the Caribbean Premier League. His stint will officially start at the 2025 tournament, set for August 14th to September 21st. And with that, we've come to the end of the news for this evening. Of course, you can find updates on these and other stories on our website, newsroom.gy, and all social media platforms. On behalf of the entire news team, I am Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching. Do have a great weekend. See you back here on Monday.